Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another video on Modern Warships. I'm the Unknown, and today I'm going to be talking about the best frigates to use for online gameplay and why. Now, I might just make this a series and do literally every class of ship. So, if you guys want that, let me know in the comments of this video. But for now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the very first frigate on the list, and that is going to be the CN Type 054B. Now, as much as I hate this frigate, when it comes to the overall armaments, I would say that this is definitely a really good frigate for beginners out there, because it has an anti-flare missile which you can use to bait flares to launch a heavier hitting missile. In this case, I use the Zircon. It has a locked cannon that's not insanely accurate, but its reload makes up for it. It has two grenade launchers, which you can put any type of grenade launcher you want. And then the best part is this thing has an anti-flare torpedo, so this thing is very good for killing submarines. It's a very versatile and it's a very good brawler for beginners out there. And this torpedo did get a buff fairly recently, making this thing pretty viable. Now, I'm going to be going over the free-to-play frigates first, and then we'll go to the pay-to-win frigates. So, the next free-to-play frigate that you can use that's pretty good is the Chungnam. As much as I hate to say it, the Chungnam is just one of those frigates that's really good at pissing people off, and for good reason. It's very fast, very small, very hard to kill in far range. And if you don't have grenade launchers, you pretty much are an easy target for this thing. Literally, it has anti-flare missiles which do pretty good damage, and if that wasn't enough, it has two unlocked missiles, an unlocked cannon, and two 2x slots for torpedoes. The only downside about this frigate is it doesn't have torpedo defense. So if you spot this thing in storm map and you launch a few asters at this thing, it's pretty much an easy kill. So as much as it has really good firepower, torpedoes are this thing's weakness. As it's pretty obvious, torpedoes are this thing's strength, but it's also the weaknesses of this frigate. Next frigate on the list, in my opinion, is for the pros out there. The F-126. Probably the best free-to-play frigate to date, and will remain the best free-to-play frigate, hands down. Minus the Smart 4000. I'm not going to mention this one in this video, only because it is not publicly released for everybody to use yet. However, if you do have this, this is by far the best frigate in the game. So this is going to have an honorable mention. Again, I'm not going to mention it because not everybody has it, so. But yeah, the F-126 was the first battle, I think it was the first or second Battle Pass frigate. It was released in September of 2022, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And when it first was released, it only had 2 missiles, but it was buffed to 3. And the thing that people loved about this is it had 4 grenade launchers. So some players out there would use the HJJs and just snipe people online, and this made the F-126 a freaking monster of a frigate. But now it is just a really good brawler. The 4 grenade launchers, if you put Panakas on this thing, you're pretty much just going to easily just destroy everybody. So yeah, the pros to this ship is it does have a lot of grenade launchers, and it's very good for torpedo defense and killing submarines very easily, especially if you have the TRGs on this thing. The cons are it doesn't have it has a decent air defense, and it's pretty fast. I can't really think of any cons for this thing. Now we're going to move on to the pay-to-win frigates out there, and we'll start off on this side for a change. Actually, hold on. There is one frigate in here that I did forget to mention. That is the SPS F-110. Now, this thing is a perfect balance of brawling capability, but also with torpedoes, because this thing heavily relies on artillery rather than missiles. This thing only has a 2x missile slot. However, it does have an unlocked cannon, and it has 2 separate grenade launchers. So, if you really wanted to be versatile, you could put, like, two RBU 2500s and two TRGs. Now, what this can do is you can use the TRGs to damage a submarine without having to worry about hitting torpedoes and interfering with your damage. And then you can use the RBU 2500s to shoot the torpedoes, essentially making this thing a really good defense against submarines. Also, this thing does have a locked torpedo slot. So this is also another viable choice when it comes to frigates. Now, the pros and cons to this thing. The pros is it's very fast, very good firepower. The cons is that the torpedo is it's not immune to flares, so submarines can flare it. Now, moving on to the pay-to-win frigates. We're going to start off with the FS Aquitaine, all right? It's a very fast frigate. Very fast, very deadly. When it first got released, it had a 2x missile slot. The devs buffed it to 3. It has an unlocked cannon slot, 3 grenade launchers. It has 2 torpedoes and a god-level air defense. So if there is one strength to this thing, it's its air defense. Hands down, it's air defense and its speed. The firepower is pretty good too. This thing can be a good brawler if need be. But yeah, it's a pretty viable choice. Next, we have the F-124. Probably my favorite frigate of the bunch. As you can see, I pretty much have like a full German loadout, minus the helicopter and the air defense. But yeah, the thing that I like about this is it's a perfect balance of torpedo and grenade launcher damage, which is nice. It has two 2x slots and a locked grenade launcher that is pretty accurate and does pretty good damage. And also does have a 2x missile slot. The cannon is locked on it, and the cannon isn't the most accurate thing in the world, but it gets the job done. I would say the pros of this are the fact that it has both cannons and grenade launchers, making this thing a submarine killer. But the cons to this is its lack of air defense. It does not have a good air defense, but it's pretty fast. So I would recommend using an anti-air missile on this thing just to combat the aircraft out there. And last but not least, we have the FEMM-Evo, probably the second best frigate in the game currently right now, because this thing is just insane. It is a monster of a frigate. So this thing has a 2x missile slot, and the air defense, it's decent, but it's not the best, so I highly recommend using an anti-air missile on this. It has 2 unlocked cannons, and this is huge. As somebody who prides themselves on cannons, and I love cannons more than anything in this game, as you can see by my statistics, I have the most cannon shots out of anything else that I use. This thing having a 2x unlocked cannon slot is huge. This thing feels more like a destroyer than it does a frigate. Now, it also has an anti-air cannon on it, which is just insane. It is auto-lock onto ships, so it does trip you up a little bit. It also has the same grenade launchers as the F-124, just a slight difference here and there. This one has 4, and it does less damage. But obviously, 4 grenade launchers is going to add up, so. And the thing that sets this apart above the other frigates is the fact that it has a torpedo autocannon, per se. So this thing attacks underwater targets, and it also attacks torpedoes, so it's a very excellent torpedo defense, making this thing a very viable sub-killer. So, yeah. The pros of this thing is it is pretty fast, I would say, and just the firepower of this thing is practically unmatched by any of the frigates in here. And honestly, the cons is the fact that this thing doesn't have torpedoes, I would say. I mean, yeah, it has the torpedo the torpedo autocannon, but, like, it doesn't do that much damage, per se. So, I would say that's, you know, the pros and the cons of this thing. So, yeah. Anyways, those are the best frigates for me. You know, best free-to-play and best pay-to-win frigates. But yeah, you guys may have a different opinion on why, but that's just, these are just my opinions. So some of you guys may not agree, and that's fine. But if you don't agree, I would love to hear why. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Peace out.